Princess Lorena was only 19, young, proud, and famous for her sharp mouth. She walked into the royal repair bay with her long purple dress moving like soft smoke. Her silver blue skin glowed in the lights, and every guard stood straight when she passed. She was the daughter of the Galactic Queen, and she knew it. Inside the bay, a human was working quietly on her damaged hover carriage. His name was Jackson Hale, a calm human mechanic who spoke very little. He was tall, strong, and focused. His hands moved with skill, and his eyes stayed serious while he checked every part of the machine. Lorena stopped in front of him, looked him up and down, and raised an eyebrow. "This is the human they sent to repair royal technology," she asked loudly. "He looks slow, and he smells like oil." A few alien nobles laughed from behind her. They enjoyed watching her insult people. It made them feel closer to her power. But Jackson did not laugh. He did not reply. He simply lifted his eyes and looked at her for one calm second. No anger, no fear, just a quiet, heavy stare that made even the guards shift uncomfortably. Then he did something no one expected. He closed his toolkit. He stood up, and without speaking a single word, he turned his back on the princess and walked away. The laughter died instantly. The entire repair bay fell silent. Even the machine seemed to stop humming. Princess Lorena blinked, shocked. I wasn't finished talking." But Jackson kept walking, slow and steady, as if a voice did not exist. Commander Yurin, the head of the palace guards, stepped forward quickly with a worried look. "Princess, this is not good." "Not good? He insulted me by walking away," she snapped. Yurin swallowed hard. "Princess, humans never leave like that unless they sense something dangerous." Lorena frowned. "Dangerous? There is nothing here." But at that exact moment, the lights flickered. A soft, cold breeze passed through the room, even though all the doors were sealed. One guard checked his scanner. His face turned pale. Something is moving behind the royal carriage, something invisible to our senses. Lorena's voice shook. "Is this a joke?" "No, Princess," Yurin whispered. Everyone slowly looked toward the shadows near the back of the room. And just then, Jackson reached the doorway. He did not turn his full body, only his head slightly, enough for his voice to carry across the silence. "You should move away from that area." His tone was calm, but his eyes were firm. He was warning her. Lorena stepped back on instinct. The lights flickered again, stronger. A strange, crawling sound echoed from behind the carriage. Not a normal creature, not a machine. Something else. Something that did not belong in a royal palace. Jackson's voice cut through the tension. "I saw a shadow behind you, and it was not your shadow." Lorena's heart pounded. The room went completely dark, and the princess finally understood why the human walked away without a word. Darkness covered the repair bay for only 3 seconds, but for Princess Lorena, it felt like a lifetime. When the lights finally returned, every guard had their weapon raised, and every noble was trembling. But the strange shadow Jackson spoke about was gone. Lorena stood still, her breath heavy. Her earlier pride now felt small and foolish. She looked toward the doorway, hoping the human was still there. He wasn't. Jackson had already left the bay. Commander Yurin rushed to her side. "Princess, are you hurt?" "No," she whispered, "but he saw something, and I didn't." The guard began scanning every corner. One of them checked the back wall and shouted, "There are deep scratch marks here, but the material is reinforced nanosteel. Nothing can scratch this." Everyone looked at the claw marks. Long, sharp, fresh. Lorena felt her stomach twist. "What kind of creature can cut nanosteel?" she asked. "No creature will know," Yurin replied. Outside the bay, Jackson walked through the palace corridors with quick steps. He kept looking at the ceilings and corners, his senses focused. Humans in this galaxy were not known for advanced technology, but they had something else, something quiet, something instinctive, a danger sense. He had seen the shadow clearly. It had not moved like an animal. It had slid, it had stretched, it had turned its head without making a sound. And its eyes, he felt them watching him, even now. Lorena could not calm down. Her pride wanted her to pretend everything was fine, but her heart refused. She finally stepped out of the bay and followed Jackson's path. "Princess, wait!" Yurin called after her, but she didn't stop. She found Jackson walking down the long silver hallway, headed for the exit. "Human!" she called out. "Stop!" Jackson stopped but did not turn. His voice was low. "I'm returning to my ship." Lorena took a few steps closer, her tone softer than before. "Why did you leave? Was it because I insulted you?" "No," he said simply. That surprised her. "Then why?" she asked. He turned his head slightly. "Because the thing behind you was not interested in me. It was focused only on you." Her breath caught. "Me? Why?" "I don't know," he said, "but it followed you. When the lights went dark, it moved." She felt the cold return to her spine. "Is it still here?" Jackson nodded once. "Yes. It has not left the palace." Her heartbeat quickened. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Can you help me find it?" Jackson finally turned fully toward her. His expression was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "You insulted me earlier," he said. "Why ask for my help now?" "Because I think I made a mistake," she admitted, her voice trembling. "And because you saw something none of us could see." For a moment, Jackson said nothing. Then he looked down the empty hallway. "It is following you," he said quietly. Lorena froze. "And it is getting closer." The hallway lights flickered again. Softer this time, almost like a warning. Princess Lorena felt the cold air brush the back of her neck. She turned quickly, but nothing was behind her. Nothing she could see. Jackson stepped forward, placing himself between her and the empty hallway. "Stay close," he said calmly. For the first time in her life, she obeyed immediately. The two of them moved deeper into the palace, away from open corridors and toward the old command rooms. Jackson walked with slow, careful steps, his eyes scanning every ceiling corner and every shadow on the floor. Lorena whispered, "Can you really sense it?" "Yes," he answered without looking back. "It watches you, not me." "Why me?" she asked again, her voice unsteady. Jackson did not answer right away. Instead, he stopped near a large metal door. The old command room was dark inside, but it had only one entrance, safer than the long hallways. He opened the door and motioned her inside. "Stay here. Don't move." "Wait, are you leaving me?" she asked quickly. "No," he replied. "I am checking the corridor." Lorena grabbed his sleeve without thinking. "Please don't go far." For a moment, Jackson looked down at her hand on his arm. Her fingers trembled. Her proud face had turned soft with fear. This was not the same arrogant princess from earlier. She truly needed him. Jackson nodded once and stepped out. The hallway was silent again, but not an empty silence, a watching silence. He felt eyes on him, crawling along the walls. Something shifted behind the security screens. Something moved above the metal beams. The shadow was close. Lorena stood inside the room, gripping her dress with shaking hands. Her heart beat loudly. She hated feeling weak, but her mind replayed the moment Jackson turned away from her. She remembered his calm face. She remembered the fear on the guards' faces. Humans were different, and she had offended one. Suddenly, a sharp metallic scratch echoed down the hall. Lorena gasped. "Jackson!" He returned instantly, shutting the door behind him. His breath was slightly faster. "It was near the ceiling," he said. "It's moving faster now." Lorena's eyes widened. "What does it want?" "You," he answered plainly. "It keeps moving toward places where you stand." She swallowed hard. "Then, why save me? After my words earlier, you could have walked away." Jackson looked at her for a long moment. "Because I don't leave people to die, even if they offend me." Something inside Lorena cracked. Something prideful. Something heavy. She lowered her head. I'm sorry," she whispered, "for what I said." Jackson nodded once. "You don't need to say more." A loud crash hit the door behind them. Both of them turned. A long, clawed shadow slid under the bottom of the door. Thin, sharp, stretching. It reached toward Lorena's feet. She stumbled backward in fear. Jackson pulled her behind him. The shadow scratched the floor, then withdrew slowly. Lorina's voice shook. It knows where we are. Jackson tightened his grip on his weapon. And we are running out of time. He stepped forward. We need to find it and kill it. The command room shook again as a shadow slammed against a metal door. Dust fell from the ceiling. Princess Lorina stood behind Jackson, her heart racing so fast she could barely breathe. Jackson, what is that thing? She whispered. A hunter, he said calmly. A creature from deep space. It chooses one target and never stops until that target is gone. And I am its target. Yes. Lorina felt her knees weaken. But Jackson did not let her fall. He gently placed a hand on her arm. Stay behind me, he said. No matter what. The door bent inward suddenly, as if something hit it with massive force. Jackson looked around the room. There was only one way out, a small maintenance vent that led to the palace courtyard. He pointed at it. Go. Crawl through. Lorina shook her head. What about you? I'll follow after I block the door. No. She grabbed his hand tightly. You are the only one who can see it. I can't leave you. For a moment, Jackson froze, not because of danger, but because the proud princess who insulted him earlier now held his hand like he was her only protection. Her voice softened. I was wrong about you. Humans aren't weak. You are the strongest person I have met. Jackson said nothing, but his eyes softened. Then the door broke. A huge black shape rushed inside the room. Not fully visible, but parts of it shimmered, claws, teeth, eyes that glowed faintly in the dark. It moved unnaturally, bending like liquid shadow. Lorina screamed. Jackson pushed her aside and swung his energy tool. A bright spark flashed as it struck the creature, making it recoil. Now! Jackson shouted. Through the vent. Lorina crawled inside, her hand shaking, while Jackson fought the shadow alone. The corridor outside echoed with alarms. Guards ran toward the courtyard. As Lorina emerged from the vent, dozens of royal guards surrounded her. Commander Yeren rushed forward. Princess, what happened? Where's the human? Before she could answer, the shadow burst from the vent opening, heading straight at her. But Jackson leaped out right behind it, rolling onto the ground, and shouted, Get her away! Guards fired energy weapons, but the creature dodged every shot like smoke. It lunged toward Lorina. She closed her eyes. But Jackson slammed into the creature, pinning it down with his whole weight. He stabbed it with a glowing charged tool straight into its head. A loud screech shook the courtyard. The shadow twisted violently, then dissolved into gray dust. Silence fell. Everyone stared at Jackson, bruised, breathing heavily, but standing tall. Princess Lorina walked toward him. Her voice trembled. You saved my life after everything I said. Jackson wiped dust from his hands. You apologized. That was enough. She stepped closer, lowering her head respectfully. You are welcome in this palace, forever, and humans are equal to us. The guards murmured. The nobles bowed. The princess, for the first time in her life, truly humbled herself. Jackson looked at her with a small, rare smile. This time, he said softly, I'm not walking away. And the young alien princess smiled back, grateful, changed, and no longer alone in the galaxy.